Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. So today I have a reaction video for you and we are going to be looking at the incredible, wonderful Judy D's channel. Now, if you haven't seen her videos already, please go ahead and check them out. She basically does the worst reviewed. She goes to these salons and has her makeup done by the worst reviewed, sometimes the best, sometimes it's best versus worst. And they are very interesting to watch. So we're going to do that. And what I'm going to be watching for in these videos is how the artist uses their tools, their products, hygiene, and the overall look. Hi, it's me from another time interrupting myself. Just before we get into today's video, I just want to give a huge thank you to today's sponsor, who I absolutely love, and that is Shoptagr. Now, I'm sure some of you have already seen me talk about Shoptagr a few times throughout my videos. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Shoptagr, it's basically a Chrome extension and an app, and it keeps you on top of things like sales, discounts, when something comes back in stock, any kind of price change on some of your favorite products and products that you have kind of saved for later, and I'll get to that in just a moment. So one thing I absolutely love about Shoptagr, I love buying things, we all know that, but also it's part of my job. That's what I say anyway to myself. So Shoptagr tells me, let's say for example, a new collection comes out or a new brand releases something and I've missed out. That happens to me a lot. So if I make sure I kind of save these products on Shoptagr, I'll be notified by Shoptagr when these products come back in stock. So I'm on it. One thing it's also great for as well is to keep an eye on your favorite products. Your regular shampoo, your regular concealer, mascara. If there's any kind of price change, any kind of sale, any kind of like discount, you will be notified. You can keep an eye on all those products. So when there's any kind of price change, you can buy as many as you like, save some money on your favorite products and your regular needed products. So Shoptagr is incredibly easy to use. It's very, very simple. So all you have to do is download Shoptagr and add it as an extension to Google Chrome. And then once you've installed it, the button will show up on the side of your screen. And then all you have to do is click the button or the slider when you see an item that you want to save. And this can also all be done on your phone as well. And you don't have to buy it right there and then in that moment. One thing you can do as well with Shoptagr is save a product to your list. Now you can have multiple lists. I personally have a list for makeup, clothing, home, and then I have seasonal as well. And one thing I find myself doing when I'm shopping is looking at something and I'm like, I can't buy it right now. And in my mind, I'm like, that's nice. And then I kind of move on. Whereas with Shoptagr, I can add it to that list. There's no pressure there to buy it. I don't have to buy it in that moment, but at least I don't have to remember it's there. And if that product goes on sale or any price change, Shoptagr is going to let me know. So one thing that happened to me recently with Shoptagr is, so there's a night cream that I like, okay? It's probably not worth the money. I don't know. I like it. But it comes in two different sizes. So it comes in a smaller size and it comes in a bigger size. And I always want to buy the bigger size, but I'm like, not now. It's not, I can't, what's the word? You know, I can't in my head justify buying that big size. However, I keep doing this. However, I got a notification on my phone that the big size was on sale. So I was like, right, buy the big one. This is it. This is the moment you've been waiting for. So as soon as that went on sale, I grabbed it. And actually, there was a few more other bargains on the website. So while you're there, you know. And you can do that. You can have an email sent to you about price changes, or on your phone, you can turn on notifications and you get notified. I personally like the notifications because then I can click it instantly. But even when you're shopping with Shoptagr, if there are no discounts on a product, at checkout, Shoptagr will scan for coupon codes for you. And this works only on the web version, so I would absolutely go ahead and install that extension onto Chrome, because if you're not saving money through a sale, you can save money through a coupon code. So Shoptagr have also launched a cashback feature, so you can earn money back via PayPal when you shop with selected retail partners. So for those of you out there who love to shop but get shopper's guilt, me every time, go ahead and download Shoptagr. Download that app, download that Chrome extension, save some money, and then give yourself an excuse to then spend more. Because you saved money, you know? Of course, I will leave a link down below for you. If you love to shop, then you are going to love, love, love this extension and this app. I couldn't recommend it enough. Okay, back to me again. Now, I just want to say something before this. Some people with these like worst reviewed are a little bit like, oh, that's someone's business, you know, don't be nasty. Here's the deal. You can do makeup on whoever you want. You don't, especially here in the UK, you don't necessarily have to be qualified to be a makeup artist. But here's something that's very important. Hygiene and and charging money. So I worked for a salon recently where I did makeup. Recently, oh god, it was years ago actually. It was years ago now. But here's the deal. They saw that makeup was popular, so they just decided, let's do makeup. They sent somebody on a course, a quick course to learn makeup and let them get on with it. Hygiene wasn't there. The quality wasn't there. People shouldn't be able to take advantage of your money. If you are going to go somewhere and have your makeup done and you leave with an infection, it's because that person hasn't been taught properly. And I've seen people get severe scarring from being unhygienic. Eye infections. It's really important, these things. And now more than ever, we know how important hygiene is. So I'm going to be looking at one of Judy's videos and talking about that. Who am I to be judging these makeup artists? Well, if you haven't been here before, hi, my name's Robert. I'm a professional makeup artist here on YouTube and also in real life, and it's my goal to help you become a pro yourself, or just someone who's really good at makeup. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, then please consider subscribing. Okay, let's do it. I have nothing ready. Let me get everything ready. So I would 100% recommend that you go and subscribe to Judy's channel. I'll leave a link below, of course, and the link to this whole video. You need to watch the whole thing, and all the rest. You are going to go crazy watching this. I've done a reaction video to hers before, and I've also done videos of her, so I'll leave a link to all of those below. So the video we're watching is I went to the worst reviewed makeup artist in my city for the last time. And this is an older video now, so let's take a look.
5 minutes in, and listen, Linda's listen. He's a barber at heart. This makeup artist, he should have just been a barber.
So, I've never seen a makeup artist wrap someone's neck like that before. Isn't that just some hair when you cut hair going down the back of a neck? I can't think of a reason why a makeup artist would need to use that, especially if you want to, like, you know, blend the foundation down or do something to the neck. Very strange.
¿Es una cara bloqueador?
No, solo crema.
Una crema hidratante.
See, I look like a priest.
That's a great idea to question like what kind of skincare they haven't already. It gives you an idea of what the skin is going to be like to prep the makeup and what other steps you have to do. Now we can see in this image, look at that sponge. It's used, it's dirty. There is, I personally, I would love to know what other makeup artists do, because everyone's like it is a little bit different. I do not use sponges over again in my kit. I actually try not to use any sponges at all. Beauty blenders, anything I don't use for hygiene reasons, just because I like to be extra safe. However, you can use a flat sponge if you want to, but that's dirty. Look how dirty that is. Unhygienic. Did you see? Did you see how So, okay, when a sponge has that kind of cracky texture on top, have you ever had a bronzer or a powder where it's kind of got that hard layer or a hard bit on top because your oil has got into the product and it's kind of like dried it out? And that can happen with like really hardly pressed powders. When it's happening on a sponge, it is literally... That is makeup that has been left on that sponge because it hasn't been cleaned, and where it's cracking is where the product has been hardened by oil or moisture, and now it's cracking up. So that could be moisture from someone else's face, it could be moisture from just sitting there, it could be from moisturizer itself. However, this shouldn't be going onto Judy's skin. I feel so sorry for her.
Vamos a poner esa porque voy a poner un polvo translúcido encima, o sea, para que lo quede muy pálida, muy blanca, ¿sí?
So one question I always ask people when I'm doing their makeup, I think one of the most offensive things you can do as a makeup artist is to assume somebody doesn't want to be their skin tone. To be like, oh, you're really pale, oh, you're too dark. It's extremely offensive. And here's the deal, if you do want to bronze up a more paler skin tone, Ask people, believe it or not, some people like having pale skin. Absolutely fine. But ask them, do you want to be a little bit darker? Do you like a sun-kissed look? Don't just assume. And I think he was trying to explain away how dark the product was and saying, I'm going to put translucent powder on top. It's translucent. What? It's not going to lighten it. It's translucent. Okay.
I'm not even gonna talk about that sponge, because ew. And look at its sister, just... You guys, right before I sat on that chair, by the way, you know, just to explain the hair, just chilling there was another man getting his hair cut, but the fact that there's a sponge right next to that, oh my god. I didn't even notice until later when Rebel pointed it out to me. Overate so much trash, and I know my skin wasn't gonna handle it. And the thing is, the first pimple showed up after I ate the first cook.
The foundation's looking very uneven, just in certain patches because we're doing this drag and wipe motion. Again, it's a very old technique that was used with like pan sticks and pancakes because it had more grip and it could move around a little bit more. But from seeing the foundation he was using before, that one foundation option he had, if I know correctly, that is Matchmaster MAC foundation, and Matchmaster is like a very light, could potentially be medium coverage, and dragging it around like this, you're going to get an uneven texture because it doesn't have much coverage. You kind of need to buff it into place. Yeah. Okay, so let's just talk about hygiene and powder. What he's doing there is unhygienic. Here's the reason. He has the powder itself, the actual product. I'll open mine here. It's really messy, sorry. And then he's getting his brush and going backwards onto the face like this. And though his tapping still doesn't make it hygienic, he's still touching the face, that brush is going backwards and forwards into the product. To use a powder hygienically, it's very simple. This is how I personally like to do it. Some people might like to use a dish or a tray. Tissue, this is toilet paper because I ran out of tissues. My powder is open. I'm tapping the powder into the tissue and I'm going to use the product from this. I'm never going to go back into my powder. So I'm taking, and there's enough on there, I'm taking the powder and going onto the face. So the brush is only touching the face and this piece of tissue you are going to throw away. You shouldn't be double dipping into products, let alone triple, quadruple, what's 5? Quadruple. 5 penta, no, okay, whatever.
Que yo voy a aplicar, bueno, vamos a hacer acá a ver qué pasa.
So that's happening. Look, the man knows what he wants. Okay, the man saw my face. This makeup artist saw my face and I inspired him.
So you can see there was, let's watch this quickly. He's very much varying how he's applying this product. He's wiping and then he's tapping in some places and all this, and he's using the tip of a brush. It's so much easier to build up a block of shadow if you use a block of color, if you just tap that product onto the lid. No dragging, because dragging takes a product from one place to another, from one to another, especially the powders. So that's why we're getting this really uneven texture. And the eyeshadow quality looks kind of shit.
God damn, that was so painful. It was the most uncomfortable thing I've ever felt on my eyes. And I've felt a lot of things on my eyes, but that was insanely painful. And it got to a point where I had to tell him, like, hey, I'm sorry, this is really, really, like, rough.
What a fox.
I mean, No, look, Linda's, come on. Look at me. I look so cute. She's so cute. Who is she? Dua Lipa, girl. Who is she?
So, this is something I talk about a lot, is product that goes that high. When people see product up here, they tend to apply the product initially there. Start in the socket, blend it up. Here, I would have started with that red color through the socket, blending through with a bigger blending brush, and then buffed it up very gently and very gradually. Then I would have done the blue on the lid. And then that white line ideally would have been better as a white liquid liner. Now, I know not everybody may be able to afford like white liquid liners, things like that. But if you can't do a look, just say, I can't do it. Don't waste people's money. You're selling something. You're selling a service. You wouldn't go to a restaurant and have your meal come out completely raw and the chef be like, sorry, I only know how to use a microwave. It doesn't, yeah. He also keeps lifting the brows. When you're doing someone's makeup, unless you walk around with your brows lifted all the time, you walk around like this, don't do your makeup like this. Your face is normal. It's like this. This is how everyone's going to see your face. Do your makeup how your eyes sit.
Strangely enough, the most relaxing part of this whole process, I barely felt he put anything on my eyes, honestly. It was very quick.
Eye products, eye and mouth products, straight from the applicator, straight from the product to use on the eyes and the lips is disgusting on a client. If you're going to use, imagine how, that looks old. Imagine how many other people have had that on their eyes, in their open orifices. Disgusting. Liquid liners, you can physically tap out onto a dish and then use a brush. No applicator should be used directly from the product itself. If you struggle with that, cut the applicators off before you put them in your kit. Don't allow yourself to make that mistake, because it can be one time that you fuck up someone's face.
Smooth, clean. So yeah, that's probably my favorite part of this process, at least compared to the rest of it.
Trata de abrir los ojos un poquito.
Stop doing that.
Abrirlos normal.
People do this thing where they lift the eye into the shape they want it to be. Like, oh, it looks great when I lift my eyes. With liner as well, because you're creating that flick and that flow of product. If you lift it, it's going to look great. But as soon as you drop it, you're dropping the shape and you're dropping the liner itself. Oh. Oh. Applying eyeliner on, where's an eyeliner? I can't find them. Applying eyeliner on a client. Here's the thing. If you need to pull something, I always go ahead and use my little finger. I'll get my client to look up and I'll very gently, it doesn't need to be down here like that. Just pull it very, very gently and then you can go in with your liner. Now, here's something. The comfort for me, the comfort of my client matters a lot, especially around the eyes. So I would always say, look up. I'm going to go in your eye. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then we can blink and have a second. Look up again, 1, 2, 3, until you have the amount of pigment you want. I also, as well, you can see directly in her eye there that there's a light reflecting off. Cover up here for your client. Look up. You don't want them staring directly into lights, you know? Not just for comfort, but because if their eyes start leaking, you're going to have all your work undone.
Voy a aplicar blush
Yeah, y mi
y
nariz.
labial. ¿Quieres algo muy fuerte o suave? Esto es muy bonito. Este color. ¿Sí te das cuenta que son los que más se utilizan?
Yeah.
Sí, porque las mujeres piden mucho eso porque quedan los labios muy bonitos, muy naturales. En cambio, estos ya son demasiado fuertes. Pues vamos a probar con esto. Recuéstate.
And he's taking the product directly from the palette. He said himself, see how much these have been used? How much have they been used and how many times have you dipped that brush on the lip, back into the palette, on the brush? Spatula, take a little bit out on a spatula and use from the spatula to the lip. Clean off a spatula, don't go back in again. Sanitize everything, clean, everything needs to be clean. Back in.
Podemos poner un poquitito de este, para darle un poquito más de vida.
He just wiped it on a tissue and went into another completely different color. It's just...
Wow, it's gorgeous. Oh my God, Barbie. Barbie, is this you? Barbie. Wow, look at all the detail.
Look how, I don't know what he used as a base. Maybe it was concealer. But there was so much rubbing and blending and eventually the color just starts to come off. I think this is why when you see a look that you're trying to create or you think of a look you're trying to create, you need to think in your mind, how am I going to do this? How am I going to build up those levels and those textures and those colors? What order am I going to do them? Because the order does count as well. No mascara, have you noticed? Okay, well, what did you all think of that application? But hygiene is so, so important. When you're using your products on other people, it is so incredibly important. And this is something I see a lot online that really concerns me. And it's when people tag me in a video of a makeup artist doing someone's makeup and are using the products directly from the applicator. Is that going back in your kit? Is it your own personal product? Like, what's going on? Because it's disgusting. Hygiene, my friends. Well, like I said, please go ahead and check out Judy's channel for more. The whole video. That's not even the worst. There are worse situations she has been in, but it's incredibly lighthearted and really fun to watch. So like I said, I'll leave a link below. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know if you've had any terrible makeup experiences before in the past. I'd love to read all of those. Please give this video a huge thumbs up if you liked it. Please consider subscribing and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.